6 p.m.
Right, so of course we're not going to play much of the other comments from earlier because on a Friday we're going to fireside chat mode, and for the next, up to the hour, up to 6 o'clock, my guest is Joshua Maponga. Now, he's done lots of things, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Tanzania. I have no idea where he is. We're going to find out. You, by the way, can put your one question that you'd like to ask him, and particularly if you know him, and you've connected with him in the past, you may want to just shout that out too. But for now, the title says Joshua Maponga, and there's a whole lot of words attached to the title. I'm going to ask him, in fact, what does he call himself? Joshua, good to chat to you. It's been a while.
Greetings, Ashraf. Long time no see, my brother.
I know, we last chatted, I don't know, about 8 years ago maybe.
You're still holding it down. You're still holding it down. Well done.
That's clearly the case, right. Now listen, I think when we spoke, did I call you Bishop Joshua? That's changed now. Yeah?
Hey, my brother, even when you are in school, you change your size of shoes. From grade 1 to grade 5, grade 7, Form 1, by the time you get college, you cannot be saying you're putting on the same shoes you're putting on in kindergarten. And if shoes must grow, why not the brains?
So what does that mean? When you say the brains have grown, as the brains have grown, you've dropped the bishop title. What is the brains taught you?
I'm more into cultural and Pan-African space, and some of the activities there would compromise the religious title of bishop. So for the sake of protecting the weaker brethren, I thought I would drop the title and go with Changambire, which is the originators and the genesis, the progenitors of Mbire, which is my root name for the Karanga clan.
I see.
Who are the beginners and the builders of the great Zimbabwe. Yes.
All right. Now, you've got there's about 5 titles next to your name. How would you describe yourself in the work you do now?
Hey, just call me a brother. Just call me
just a brother. No, but understand. But what I'm saying in terms of the work you do, I've got author, philosopher, social entrepreneur, founder of Farmers of Thoughts. What am I missing there?
You're missing the me part. That is not Maponga, but being Maponga is a progressive principle, continuous growth into purpose and being. So you cannot say I am Ashraf Garda. You are not Ashraf Garda, because that is present perfect tense. You are present continuous tense. You are becoming Ashraf Garda. Well, there's still much more that Ashraf Garda is becoming that we don't know.
So you are being Joshua Maponga, yeah?
That's it, in the participle mode.
Okay. Where are you now?
I've just landed literally 30 minutes ago. I was in Dar es Salaam. I've just landed in Harare. And in my way to Masvingo, the day ago, I was in Accra, Ghana. And a day before then, 2 days prior, I was in Zambia. So yeah, I'm everywhere. I'm in Africa. I think that's a better title.
They may make you the leader of the African continent with the rate that you're traveling up and down with the different countries. Would you like that?
We're checking the terrain. We're checking the terrain so that by the time we talk about African issues, we need to know how the rivers in Ghana have been polluted by the Chinese, how the rivers in Mazoe, what is happening in Congo, what are they doing in Tanzania. And you cannot get this thing on media. You need to get there and see it yourself so that you become a live, positive, commentary center for African conversations towards the Pan-African ideology.
All right.
That we are now propagating.
So you mentioned Pan-Africanism a few times already. So what is your purpose now? What do you do? What do you embark on? What fires your imagination these days?
What actually excited me was to come across this old dream that Kwame Nkrumah, Kenneth Kaunda, Julius Nyerere, Robert Mugabe, and the Lumumbas and Sankaras had in mind, the one Africa, including Haile Selassie. And when I visited the ideology and I read through the documentation, I felt it was a noble task. Unfortunately, most of them, if not all of them, have died. But I think that dream is worth pursuing. We need new blood, new energy to pick up the cracks, the impetus, the very core of what Pan-Africanism was all about in the heads of our forefathers, and particularly our heroes, the African continent, and see how best we can resuscitate that dream into the modern age And possibly, as we are moving into the global space, that the African child can also join the global community as a united Africa.
What's your interpretation of Pan-Africanism, and like how do you internalize it and how do you externalize it?
I internalize it in terms of the ideology and its inception and initial perception, which was a revolutionary platform of neighboring countries and even individualities and ideologies that were pro the liberation of the African child. And many, if not all, of the African leaders right now are students of Pan-Africanism. But the danger of its externalization is that moving out from Pan-Africanism, which was indigenously driven and started, they moved over into a colonial Pan-Africanism, where these Pan-Africanists become the inheritors of the same system that was oppressing them. So ANC was fighting the Afrikaners, only for them to get into parliament and become the Afrikaners themselves. ZANU-PF, same thing. SWAPO, same thing. Zambia, UNDP, same thing. So you tend to find that people jumped on the bus and they fought over who must drive the bus. But they forgot that the bus is still going in the same direction, which the previous driver was driving. So Pan-Africanism for me is not just an ideology, but it's actually a mental, it's a system transformation and an entire refurbishing and reconstruction of the governance, business, economics, agriculture, sports, recreation, health, technology, and ultimate spirituality. So how do we turn all these wheels?
So in the pursuit of establishing, Pan-Africanism as an ethos, what needs to be done?
I think most importantly, what my passion right now has been the transformation of the software. And by software, I mean that the quality of thinking. And many African politicians and young people think that when they put a new leader, politics will change. Unfortunately, we've done Mandela Diba, we've done Thabo Mbeki, we've done Muthlande, we've done Zuma, now we're on Ramaphosa, and people think that leadership is a problem. No, the system is a problem. When a president takes a vow into an office that he is a president of a republic, what does the republic mean? It means that you are going to be using Roman Dutch laws, still subject the people to the colonial system and protecting multinational organizations that have been running business in your country and using the legal framework. Nothing will change. Change leaders, but don't change the system.
So what would, when you say change the system, what should the change of system,
yes,
what should you change to?
Sadly, that in the midst of New Africa, we're actually stuck with an old system. We're trying holes and squares.
Yeah, sorry, just repeat the last part. Oh, I think you're on mute. If you can just unmute yourself, you've done that.
In square holes.
All right, just to repeat so we don't lose it.
We're trying to fit.
I was asking about systems. Yeah,
I'm saying we're trying to fit.
Yeah.
Yes, we're trying to fit round poles in square holes. The African world view is of a round of it. Rounding cutters. The round, everything is round, but the European comes with squares, square houses, Tuscans, and the rest of square books. And we're trying to fit our African worldview and epistemologies into a square concept of Eurocentric Roman Greco calendars, birthdays, Christmases, and the calendar itself. Our time has been squared up instead of being round. We are cosmical as Africans, but now we're Gregorian. And that shift on its own poses a problem to our education and our social and cultural expression. We are trying to fit into the Western culture, celebrating Christmas and Easters, which are way away from our calendars and our mythologies. The question is, what are we benefiting from this system? We have been usurped, we have been colonized, now we are cooperating with colonization.
We are co-parenting with colonization. But I mean, when you talk about potential changes, that makes the assumption that every African country will think the same as you. I mean, that's not true, isn't it? Even within African countries, they have difference of opinions and expressions, so they may not latch on to what you're saying.
I mean, philosophy for me is I found more freedom in my philosophical space, where I had an opportunity to think without being limited by religion or by political bias or cultural expression. I am quite informed in terms of cultural expression, cosmology, from the Dingas to the Maasais to the Gikuyus, the Karangas, the Shonas, the Zulus, Xhosa, Sutu, and I've traveled the width and breadth of this continent in pursuit of knowledge and understanding. And in the midst of all that, I am actually well informed to make a conclusion that some of what we think is our African culture is actually colonial culture. But African culture, in conversation with itself, we are brothers and sisters. And when left to ourselves, we can always find each other.
Okay. I see, as we're talking, there's news that Nelson Chamisa confirming that he's to return to politics in Zimbabwe. Any thoughts on that?
No, it's a joke, that guy, man. It's a big joke. He has squandered what I might want to call his political mileage. And you always, I think I must go and join ministry and become a pastor or something like that. He does not have what it takes to stand his ground, to drive an agenda, transform the society. People love him, people loved him, but it's sad to say that his position right now has become that of a sympathizer. Even in the midst of his political mileage, he was still doing business with ZANU-PF, and the beneficiary of the same system that he was fighting. So, as far as I'm concerned, I wish he can take people more seriously. He's a joke. Nelson Chamisa is a joke.
He's a joke. What do you think of President Ramaphosa, South Africa's president?
President Ramaphosa is a custodian, he's a stooge. He is an Uncle Tom protecting the colonial system. And he is a business CEO of a company called South Africa. And his business is to make sure that the multinational companies keep their hold on the South African economy. And he's doing a good job in doing that. Ramaphosa, one of the best CEOs you can ever find. Give him a job to do, give him his task, he will deliver. Whether people are happy or not, that's none of his business, as long as the bosses are happy.
Okay, and what about leadership in Tanzania?
Leadership in Tanzania is a crisis, because Nyerere was responsible for the liberation of South Africa, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Zambia, and Namibia. But in the midst of that, is all leading political parties forget with the people, and they begin to become institutions that can destroy themselves. And one of the countries which should have been a leader in democratization and social empowerment and sovereignty has sunk itself into monarchy, anarchy, and absolute destruction of its very foundation. It's sad to hear that the elections of Tanzania went away with thousands of people that were killed because the system forgets itself. The system starts servicing itself instead of servicing the community. It's sad. And the same story in South Africa, same story in Namibia, same story in Zimbabwe, same story in Zambia, ultimately even in America. Now Tanzania, there's no difference. The democratic system does not work. I wish I could shout on top of the world. If democracy works, then go to Venezuela and ask them, what is democracy doing here when America is hijacking? And so this whole thing, man, we need to rethink Ashraf Garda. We need to stop becoming propagators of propaganda and start becoming thinkers. Africa is now 65 years into democracy. From Ghana to South Africa, tell me that democracy has worked. Show me one country where it has worked.
Some may say it may not be
People
perfect, but it's the best we. Some may say it may be the best we have.
Yeah, but Ashraf Garda, you're an intelligent man. Type on your computer right now the top 10, 15 most progressive countries in the world. Singapore comes top. Dubai comes next. Britain comes next. Russia comes. America comes. And Vietnam, North Korea, Japan. Of all those countries, show me how many of them are democratic.
Okay. I don't need to type it because I get your point. I mean, I'm aware of what you're trying to say, including Saudi Arabia in that as well. Yeah.
The whole of Africa has been told that the only way to be successful is democracy, which is not true. The Great Zimbabwe, Pyramids of Giza, in Sudan, in Benin. Tell me that those systems, in Abyssinia, tell me Ethiopia and all we build all those systems on democracy. Tell me.
All right, so if we have to move away from the democracy that does not work, right? What do we move?
Demon crazy. Not democracy, demon crazy.
Demon crazy, okay. To move away from that does not work. What do we move it to the point you can't do it like a switch where you just switch on the lights on and off? I mean, what would be the process? I'm very interested to know what because I'm sure you thought about it.
I've done lots of consulting in the business environment for more 15 to 20 years. And a good company comes with a strategy. And a good strategy that is not implemented is as good as no strategy at all. And a bad strategy that is implemented violently always succeeds. So the question is, do we have political will to hybridize the democratic system, the indigenous governance system, and come up with a new format in which we can rule ourselves? I mean, look at China. It's working on what we call benevolent dictatorship. Look at Singapore. They're working on meritocracy. And look at London. They're working with the monarchy and seemingly Republican democratic system on the side, lower and upper house of commons. So as Africa, we need to find what works for us. But as I'm sitting right now, I can announce to the whole of South Africa and the whole world over, particularly to Africa, that the way we are practicing democracy, which are the dictates of colonialism and capitalism, is not working. We are literally electing thieves to go and steal on our behalf.
Democracy.
And there's no recourse.
Okay. Democracy is not working, as per Joshua Maponga.
No, it's not working.
That's what he says. I wonder what you say.
Maybe in South Africa it's working.
No, but why are you saying maybe now? You just said it's not working now. You're like, maybe it's working.
Oh, no. From my corner, it's not working, but it looks like you are taking a middle ground. That maybe we have a little bit better democracy than Zimbabwe. Hey, wait until you touch land. You'll be worse than Zimbabwe. But maybe those Afrikaners that are in America have already given you a warning shot. That you touch land, you are in a mess.
Well, listen, talking of the USA, this is a quote from you. If Trump is king, then America is the economic empire. It will collapse in our generation. Tell me.
That wasn't a prophecy. That's history. That has already happened. As of 2 days ago, Brazil and China have just signed the first agreement to start trading away from the US dollar. And if the BRICS countries, South Africa can sign that, India can sign that, Russia can sign that, the economic sovereignty of America will close before the end of June this year. I can make that as a statement. Well-informed statement.
So just explain so we understand what you mean. When you say the economic sovereignty of America will close by end of June, that means economic sovereignty and in terms of the hegemony regarding the dollar, right? Yeah?
Yes. Oh. The dollar has been the main trade currency of the whole world. Now that oil has moved and smaller businesses are moving away through the BRICS and through the tariffs that America is putting on goods around the world might start looking for new markets, because America is not the only consumer. And once we begin to see these three pillars, which are product and services, currency exchanges, and the exchange rate for oil, which is the currency and the breathing and the bloodline of the whole world, if those three pieces of businesses are moving away from the American dollar, I don't even need to make a prophecy. It's a reality. America is collapsing.
Let's go back. I mean, you've never been short of opinions. When you were the bishop and now, you've always had strong views. Let's go back. I'm interested to know your early days in your life. I mean, where you from, where you come from, what inspired you, what can you remember about your early days that put you on this path now?
Most of the stuff that inspired me has expired me. I mean, I dreamt of becoming a big preacher, big pastor, running, work for the Lord and take people to heaven one day and sit with them around the throne of God and, receive my reward when Jesus comes back again. I mean, that was my inspired by big preachers, C.D. Brooks, E. Cleveland, Charles Bradford, Benjamin Reeves, Jones, T.D. Jakes, name it. I mean, I lived in that space. And for crying out loud, I did that job and I did it quite good, But when you start reading and researching and discover, hey, why do we have gates in heaven if it is a safe place? You start scratching your head, and maybe heaven is not such a safe place after all. And if God is good at forgiving people, then how many apples did Adam eat? Hey, then you scratch your head again. And if God says to another man, that man has died, go and sleep with his wife, your brother's wife. Your brother has died. Go and sleep with his wife. And you start scratching your head again. What is this? And if God makes another woman pregnant, And then he says to Joseph, don't divorce her, I've been pregnanted here. And God is my example. Should I also go and pregnant the woman next door? Hey, you scratch your head again. And all this thing about biblical mythologies and the amount of colonization, the interpretation of the Bible, the subtraction of text in the Bible, Islam on one side, Christianity on one side, Judaism on one side, Allah, Jesus, and Yahweh. Can they just sit somewhere in a private place, the three gods, and talk by themselves and leave human beings out of the mess? Then my mind literally moved on to a different level altogether. Why are we fighting the wars that belong to God? Why must a Muslim kill a Christian? Why must a Jew kill a Muslim? And at the center of this, we don't want to say it, is religion. So God is a problem. Allah is a problem. Yahweh is a problem. Religion is a problem. It divides us.
But is religion the problem, or is it the absence of people embracing the compassionate examples of religion?
We don't have those people that have that compassion, because religion by itself is an abstract theory fit on papers. It has no emotion. It has no blood. It has no personality. It's just an idea, and people are fighting over an idea that there is a heaven, there is Allah, there is Jesus, and there is God somewhere in the sky. No one has seen this guy.
So as a former bishop, do you then not believe in God?
Oh man, the kingdom of heaven is in you. I believe in the God that is right here, and I must treat you, my brother, as I treat myself. For me, that is the basic form, expression of spirituality. This religion that is institutionalized away from personal responsibility has made enemies out of each other.
Okay. Yeah, so much to digest, if I can call it that, from Joshua Maponga. The man doesn't stop talking. In fact, he doesn't stop expressing his opinions. Now, listen, we're happy to take, and you're laughing, you're chuckling, happy to take maybe 2 or 3 calls. So if you have comments, quick call, sharp calls, here's the number to call in, 086 000 2032. And of course, you can challenge him. That's up to you. WhatsApp 0614 104 107. Do that right away. Let's get the news headlines. Here's Greg.
Thank you, Ashraf. A quick look at the headlines. The KZN Department of Transport says it's using technology to keep unroadworthy Scarlet transport vehicles off the road. The case against the EFF leader Julius Malema has been adjourned to April for closing arguments. And the Mossel Bay municipality in the Western Cape says it has a year's worth of water, despite predictions that the province will receive less than average rainfall this coming year. That's SAFM News. I'll have the full update at the top of the hour.
SAFM, guiding you through the rush hour traffic.
Good afternoon. Starting off in Gauteng, the N1 northbound in Midrand queuing towards New Road, the M1 southbound in Melrose slow moving towards Glenhove Road, and on 14th Avenue in Constantia Kloof there's a crash at Hendrik Potgieter Road. In KZN, Wakesley Road southbound has heavy traffic towards Serena Road and a stationary vehicle on the N3 southbound at Cliffdale Interchange. In Cape Town, the inbound is slow moving at Baden-Powell Drive. That's due to a large fire in the area. Stellenbosch Artiel Road eastbound in Delft queuing towards Symphony Way, and Marine Drive northbound queuing towards Woodbridge Island. With your traffic update, I'm Irma G.
This is SAFM Sports with Tuming Khapele.
To me, you're going to give us the your predictions just now. What are you starting with?
Well, I'm starting off with the Sunrisers Eastern Cape, who are taking on Paul Royals tonight in qualifier 2 of the Betway SA20 at the Wanderers, with a place in the final up for grabs. The winner will advance to the final at Newlands on Sunday, where Pretoria Capitals are already waiting. Paul Royals come into the match with confidence after securing their first ever playoff win, while Sunrisers will be hoping to recover from their loss to the Capitals in qualifier 1. Still with cricket, Proteas coach Shukri Conrad says that he's confident that David Miller will be fit in time for the T20 World Cup in India next month. Miller picked up an adductor injury while playing for the Paul Royals in the SA20 on Monday and has been ruled out of the upcoming T20 International Series against the West Indies. The squad has also been affected by injuries to Tony DeZorzi and Donovan Ferreira, who have been replaced by Ryan Rickleton and Tristan Stubbs. Conrad is hopeful that Miller will recover in time. time. And I think a whole lot of people are also hoping that Miller will recover in time for the T20 World Cup. In football, SAFA President Danny Jordan says that they will soon meet Sports Minister Gayton McKenzie to discuss a bid to host the 2028 Africa Cup of Nations. Now, CAF's deadline for expressions of interest is the 1st of February, and if successful, it will be South Africa's first official AFCON win, having hosted back in 1996 and 2013 as a last-minute replacement. And McKenzie is also keen to bring the FIFA Women's World Cup to Africa, but with this particular AFCON, I do know that they do want to co-host it with the likes of Botswana. And Mamelodi Sundowns coach Miguel Cardoso says that tonight's CAF Champions League match against Al Hilal is not a must-win, but a victory would give his team a big advantage in the group.
Great competition ahead. We're back on Champions League. Third match out of 6. Nothing will be decided tomorrow. Obviously, a good result from our side gives us a good position in the competition. Big respect by the team of Al Hilal. It's a team with a lot of resources. Just take a look on how many players they have on national team. So we know the responsibility of this match. We know how the opponent plays, what they can do, but we know very, very well what we can do, what we want, the capacity we have, and how we have to approach the match with the responsibility, obviously, of it, but with the same level of motivation, of power, of energy, of will, of desire, of commitment, and following the plan of the game until the end. So that will approach us, obviously, more from the result we want. A match of details, let's pay attention to them so that we can be successful.
In tennis, the Australian Open has changed its match times because temperatures are expected to reach 40 degrees Celsius on Saturday, and play on main courts in Melbourne will begin at 10:30 in the morning instead of the usual 11 or 11:30. In motorsport, Ferrari have revealed the 2026 F1 car, the SF26, with Lewis Hamilton giving it its first run on track in Italy. The SF26 features a return to glossy paint. This is following 7 years of the matte finish trend, and Ferrari says that the red is now brighter and more intense, with more white around the cockpit and engine cover to create a bold, balanced look that makes the car instantly recognizable. Before I say goodbye, yes, predictions for this weekend. I'm going to start off with Sundowns versus Al Hilal. Sundowns because they are at home. Arsenal, Man United. I think Arsenal are going to win.
So Sundowns will beat Al Hilal.
Yes.
And then Arsenal, Man United?
I think Arsenal is going to win.
Okay. You don't have to feel sad about it.
No.
Just carry on. Yeah. Right? What else?
Because I'm going against my team. But truth is the truth. Sharks versus Stormers. And then also Paul Royals versus Sunrisers, Eastern Cape. I think Sunrisers is going to be in the final against the Cape. The
In
Pretoria
the final,
Capitals.
but who's going to win it, ultimately? Because you've got two predictions.
yes.
Because the final is also Sunday, so you'll be done.
Ideally Pretoria Capitals. I think Pretoria
They won,
Capitals.
they topped the lot, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretoria Capitals.
Anything else we're missing out on?
No, nothing else.
What's your plans for the weekend?
I am actually doing the red carpet for the Limpopo Sports Awards tomorrow. So that is my plans
Okay.
for this weekend.
Who's going to win?
Don't know.
I mean, you're doing the red carpet and you don't know. Okay.
I don't know who's going to win. We'll just have to wait and see.
All right. We'll talk about it on Monday.
Well,
Have a good
that's
weekend.
it.
Yeah.
As we celebrate 90 years of existence, SAFM takes you back to the voices that shaped a nation.
Xolani Gwala will be back again for you 6 to 9 Monday here on SAFM.
And
Thanks, Xolani. Good morning and welcome to Morning Talk with me, Kim Gabadeli.
The name is Bonge Kwala. Good to be with you till midday today. Let's engage South Africa.
Welcome to Morning Talk on SAFM, South Africa's news and information leader, with me, Rowena Bird.
90 years of trusted voices. This is SAFM. The Morning Brief.
How did we get here? What is your best sense of how we got here?
You've seen what has happened between Randfontein and the reality that they need to have supplies, they need to have services, and that's where they start to get to interact with communities, and that's where all the problems start. Where they are looking for food, they're looking for supplies, they're looking for equipment that they need to use. So they get involved with the communities, and at the end of the day, you get the situation where they move into these communities and they start terrorizing them.
That's Yvette Du Plessis, member of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, also a resident of Randfontein.
This is Dula Sizwe Simelane on the Morning Brief.
Economic news on SAFM. Facts and figures you can count on.
Right, let's get an update into the markets for the last day for the week here with Jimmy Moyaha.
Good afternoon, Ashraf. Good afternoon to the listeners. We're closing out the markets in absolutely smashing territory. New all-time highs on the JSE. The gold price is less than $50 away from that $5,000 finance level. The silver price is less than 20 cents away from $100. The platinum price is approaching $2,800 a finance. Palladium has gone above $2,000 a finance. On the currency side of it, the rand equally as strong against all of the major currencies. 16 rand 16 against the US dollar. We might even break that 16 rand level. We've come back below 22 rand against the British pound, back below 19 rand against the euro. It's only the Australian dollar that's still above 11 rand at 11 rand and 10 cents. The price of a Bitcoin just below 90,000 at 88,800, still below 1.5 million with that stronger rand. On the equity side of it, international markets, bit of a mixed bag. European markets were down, whereas Asian markets and US markets were in the green. Our own local markets, because of those smashing commodities prices, are up on the day's trade. Resource stocks up 3.4%. Industrials down 1.1%. Financials down 0.5%. But the all-share closing out the day 0.75% to, 2/3% rather, to the green. The top 40 was up 0.75%. This is a big win going into the final week of the month of January. I suspect that this momentum will definitely continue going into next week, and I suspect that $5,000 finance level on the gold price that we've been eyeing is likely to be reached as soon as next week. We got dangerously close early today in the early hours as we came out of Asian session, and as we were preparing for the London trading session, we got dangerously close to that $5,000 finance level. But I noted that in the case of gold and silver, both of those futures contracts did cross above those key thresholds. So definitely signs of momentum within the market, signs of a big win for us on the local front with that stronger rand and the stronger equity prices. We take that going into the weekend. We'll come back next week, see how January closes out, because as we enter into February, we're going to be preparing for South Africa's conversations around budget and other things that will affect our own local markets. But for now, the stronger rand, all-time highs on the all-share, stronger commodities prices, and a win going into the weekend. Back to you, Ashraf.
And it's the weekend for you, absolutely, Jimmy. Great to connect with you as always. Have a great weekend. We will talk on Monday.
Ashraf Garda on SAFM.
Well, when myself and Temba and Key spoke, we did predict that to you, man. Our guest will have strong views, and he's got many. Before and now, Joshua Maponga, former bishop. So those who are talking about why is he speaking on behalf of Christianity? In fact, he's not speaking on behalf of Christianity because, as you may have heard, he's not the bishop any longer. There's also been questions about who funded him or who funds him now. Where does he make his money to travel? We'll get to that in a second. Let me start with this, Joshua. I've got a call from Churchill in Mthatha. Churchill, hi.
Hi, Ashraf. Ashraf, you know, I just love Joshua Maponga. You know, when he speaks on a lot of issues that are affecting Africans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm an educator. I always say to my kids, if somebody says that color is white, the next question that you need to ask is, why does that person say it's white? Who said it's white, and what are the reasons? Because one of the reasons why we're here as Africans, we need to think outside what was being told by our colonizers. I love him when he speaks on the issue of Christianity, which is diluted Christianity that was brought to us when they wanted to enslave us. I love him when he speaks on education, the way we do our things. And I love him when he says, democracy is not the best system. There are many countries out there that are successful that are not practicing this democracy.
Democracy, and you know, your name is Churchill. You know the irony, right? I'm just making the
Absolutely.
point.
I know the irony. That's what my parents called me. I grew up in a Christian family.
Yeah.
But now, what were the reasons? Why did I go to school? I went to school so that I could be able to analyze
Yeah, okay. Well, listen, you've got us thinking, Churchill. Thanks for that. And as I'm talking to you, I can tell you now, Joshua's on a Zoom chat because he's not here, and he's putting he's got his finger next to his temple, basically saying, using your cop, in South African terms. Oh, there we are. Thinking is important. Churchill, thanks for that. Let's get a response. Quick one, Joshua. Respond to Churchill's call.
And I don't think Churchill summarizes it all beautifully. That we go to school to be introduced to two tools of thinking. And one of my favorite subjects when I was in primary school and high school was debate. For polygamy or against polygamy. What are the advantages, disadvantages? And then we would go and research. 3-4 days later, we come and we argue. This one saying polygamy works. This one says it doesn't work. And I wish South Africa right now could have a debate in some of your public channels. Democracy, monarchy, monotheism, meritocracy, benevolent dictatorship. What is the best method of governance of people? And then people can argue. And in an academic space, we're not limited to perceptions. Your ideas must be challenged. And being an academician and a scholar means that you must be willing to put your idea at some place. And those that can engage you intentionally and intelligently can argue. Is democracy working 65 years later? I have a case to present. From Kwame Nkrumah to South Africa, I have a case to present. From Zimbabwe to Zambia, Mozambique, Rwanda, Burkina Faso, Egypt, Ghana, Nigeria, I think I can state. Because in all those countries, there are revolutions. People are not happy with their leadership. I can say that upfront. There's no single country, except the three right now, they say HAL, where there's a different brand. But there is again is dictatorship. It's military dictatorship, which almost bounds itself on benevolent dictatorship, like China, where military soldiers have come in as dictators. But the advantage is that they are dictating the right thing. They are dictating the right thing, and people are happy. And if democracy means majority rules, and majority says, we want that leader, whether he's a soldier or what, we don't care about elections. We want roads, we want hospitals, we want industries, we want men, and people are happy. Who are you as South Africa to say, no, that's not right. They must come and join us here in democracy. Because democracy, so this for me is the smoke screen of confusion. Where even if it is not working, come and sit with us here. Because that's what we agreed we're going to do. Who did we agree as Africans that we must be democratic? Did we agree?
Okay. Listen, we're going to include you in that debate. There's lots of voice notes I want to play. Let's play a few in a row.
Call me any day. Call me on any day.
Okay.
Call me on any day on that debate. I would want to come. Put all the scholars.
All right, but you're voicing your opinions already. I want to get the listeners from around the country. They have lots to say about you, good and bad, I think. Let's hear it.
Hi there, Ashraf. Thank you so much for bringing Mr. Maponga there. I admire that gentleman. He's an intellectual of note. Unfortunately, my silence, you should read a lot from my silence. In Africa, I think is a one of its kind. Siabo.
Good afternoon, Ashraf and SFM listeners. Ashraf, I just want to add on Joshua Maponga's comment on Nelson Chamisa. He hit the nail straight. Nelson Chamisa betrayed the people of Zimbabwe. People of Zimbabwe had faith on him, not knowing that he was sleeping in the same bed with the Mnangagwas and all those people, doing business with ZANU-PF. Yeah. Don't trust politicians. Never trust politicians. He hit the nail on the head. Nelson Chamisa betrayed the people of Zimbabwe. Thanks. That's all what I can say, James. Jobe.
Ashraf, good afternoon. Today, I must say, you and I and others, we are in for it, man. Now we are hearing it from the man himself. Yeah, Ashraf. No, I never thought I'll hear this man from. I always hear him on the TikToks and what. Not on live radio as I'm listening to him now. But I must tell you, somehow, somewhere, he's on point. Good afternoon, Marumo Mahikin.
People are fighting over God and no one has seen this guy. Oh my goodness. I can live with this guy. I can live with this man every day. He's a realist. I can live with him over anybody else in this world. Thank you so much for inviting this man. Ashraf, thank you so much.
Ashraf, we must take out the flowers and hand them over to the person while the person is still alive. Thank you very much for saving us well, Ashraf. You, your team, you guys, you are remarkable, man. The work that you do for us, we appreciate very much, man. You, the team, Mark, we're coming on, and to me, thank you very much, guys, man. Thank you very much. God bless. That's Max from Velcom.
Max, much appreciated, man. Listen, the team, you're here to me, and of course the other contributors like Mark Ware and Jimmy and the newsreaders as well, right? Like Greg coming up just now. Of course, he's listening, I'm sure, right? But no, listen, from a production, it's very much Temba and Keith, and they play a critical role in delivering the content in terms of what it is. So for example, the point like with Joshua Maponga, people say, thank you for inviting him. I never invited him. It's not a democracy. He just forced his way onto the show. He said, I want to come, and that's it. I never invited him. It was left to me. I would have said no. Anyway, Joshua, I'm kidding you. Listen, you don't need to respond to those because I think they all said what we've already discussed, right? I want to just find out from you. In terms of the books you read that stimulates you nowadays. What are they?
Man, I've created a small little page, but unfortunately I lost the number in South Africa and the page has been hijacked. But there's a page called FOT Readers Club on Telegram. I've uploaded almost like 2,000 books there. The Andy Diops of this world, the Chinua Achebes, the Soyinkas, the Ngugi wa Thiongos, the Steve Bikos, the entire How Africa Civilized the World, How to Make a Nigger a Christian. Literally, that's like my posted. But get to the media space and the documents there. I've actually put like a big, beautiful library.
But I'm going to ask you to give me one book to recommend that we must read. We can answer that right after this.
Wherever you are in the world, SAFM 104 to 107 is accessible. We're also streaming live on Facebook, X, and YouTube at SAFM Radio. We acknowledge and appreciate everyone tuning in and watching our streams. Stay with SAFM 104 to 107 as we bring you Commission Live, breaking stories, and thought-provoking lectures. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. Ashraf Garda on the National Pulse.
All right, we've got about just about 8 minutes or so to go, Joshua Maponga, as we wrap up the show. I'm very keen. So give me one book, just one, that you recommend we must read.
I will personally come and deliver a book to you, Ashraf Garda. Having read half of those books, I wrote my own book entitled African Questions and African Solutions. Half of the book are questions, half of the book are solutions. And I would give you that. I'll buy it for you.
And thank you very much. But that's the book you recommend others must read as well.
It's almost like if you don't have time to go through the 400 books and you just want to hear an academic scholar now soaked in all this literature, making an honest reflection. So I picked up 7 subjects. That was education, that was governance, agriculture, business and economics, health and technology, then sports, recreation, entertainment, and number 7 was spirituality. And when I went through all those books, then I created each chapter with each questions, particularly for masters and graduate students. That book is brilliant because then it allows you to ask the right question. Yeah,
I would love to read it. I would love to read it. Now, listen. I mean, obviously, many people admire you. Some people are very critical of you, right? But give me a young person Name a young person that you really admire. And why? From anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, in fact.
The young person I really admire. Who will that be? Oh, that's a very interesting. There's a young boy in Uganda.
Yeah.
They call him the president. This young boy, I think he's in primary school.
Yeah.
That boy's got a vision. When I hear him, my heart beats. I almost hear the voices of the ancestors speaking through him. And I don't know where he gets all that data from. What he knows, I even don't know. I think that boy is my inspiration.
So
I don't know.
he's called the president, and you don't know his real name, right? No. But
I don't know the president. Yeah, but it's just called the president.
Ah,
from Uganda.
Now we're all going to look for him. Yeah, hey?
Look for the president. Look for the president.
I'm going to look for him.
That boy is going to run Africa one day. I tell you now.
The president. Wow. So if you...
The president.
Right. If you had a question for... Because I mean, you lived in South Africa, Zimbabwe and Tanzania. So for South Africa's president, if you had a chance to ask Ramaphosa one question, what would you ask him? Only one question.
Why have you become the colonizer yourself? So what were you fighting against?
Okay. What's your question for Donald?
Same system.
Yeah, if you had a chance to ask Donald Trump one question, what would you ask him?
When you eat everybody else, there'll be nothing to eat. You will eat yourself. So why are you destroying other people? If you want the whole world to become Americans, then give us passports to become all Americans. Why are you fighting other people's sovereignty and you want them to respect your sovereignty?
Okay, I wonder what he'll answer you, right? Is there a good... I mean,
He can't answer me. You won't answer me.
He won't answer you. Yeah. Okay. Would you have gone with South Africa's politicians to the White House if they invited you to meet Trump the last time, last year?
I would want to open the door for him and to give him a lecture first before the meeting. That was a circus, by the way. That was a circus. It was a joke that we took Ramaphosa to be humiliated by an uneducated fool called Trump. I mean, how do you pick pictures from Congo and make them South African? Your whole office, the whole research team in the president of America to bring false evidence and blackmail South Africa on the basis of misinformation. I think that was intellectually insulting. That was horrible. That was a diplomatic miscarriage.
Okay. So listen, now you said no democracy. If you could rule by decree in the world, the whole world, not Zimbabwe, not Tanzania, not South, anywhere in the world, right? And your one decision will change the world. What's the one decision you would make, in effect, for the whole world?
If a man rapes a woman, I'll chop off that piece of furniture and give it to dogs.
Okay, why so? Explain, motivate.
You don't know how to use it. You don't know how to use it.
Now
Power is for abuse. Negotiation and love get the same job done with cooperation.
Okay. How, when you now reflect on your life, what for you has been your biggest achievement?
Was to discover myself. That what the colonialism and the Christianity had told me that I was not.
That was your biggest achievement. What has been your biggest failing?
To have propagated to transport people to heaven, and I don't know where the place is.
And when you realized that you didn't have the GPS to heaven, did you feel like the need to go and look for all those people that you spoke to before and tell them that you got it wrong?
I'm a broken man. I feel sad. I wish people could see the world through the window in which I see it now.
Well, they are seeing it. They may not agree with you, but they definitely are seeing it, right? Is there a good quote? I mean, you say lots of things and you've got like hundreds of quotes, but is there one quote of yours, your own quote, that you know is so powerful that you love repeating?
When the face is beautiful and the software is not working, the hardware between the legs will always suffer. When the country is beautiful and leadership is absent, the resources belong to the strangers.
The resources belong to the strangers. And that's what you perceive right now, right? Is there other... What's the one... I mean, we've got about a minute and a bit to go, right? You've said so many things. How would you like the world to remember you? You're going to die one day, you know that, right? And whether
and by the way, Ashraf, the minute I can spend it, I'm going to the farm tonight. I'm actually going to prepare my grave, my sepulchre. I want to go and prepare it nicely, dig it up, and put a chair in there where I will be buried. I want to prepare for my death. I don't want people to come and decide where I must be buried. I will decide for myself.
Okay, but
one thing people can remember me for is the man that lived and he questioned everything. And he died not satisfied with the narrative that he had been given.
So what would you write on your tombstone? If you could now, because you're in charge of everything, right? So what would you inscribe on your tombstone?
When I was alive, I was behind you. Now that I'm dead, I am ahead of you. Where I am, you will come. Where you are, I once was.
I think that is so true. Now suddenly the whole country listening are skrik, man. You know, people listening like, oh my goodness, man, why did he have to say that? He just spoiled my whole mood. Yeah, okay. Listen.
But if you are not ready to die, you're not ready to live.
But most people are not ready to die, are they?
No,
you know that.
That's why we have zombies that have no purpose.
Okay, we've got 10 seconds. One message to the people of South Africa listening. You've got one line to tell them. What's it?
South Africa, move away from being a company, become a country, and in your sovereignty, find yourselves and create a hybrid system and contribute to the universe.
Okay. A hybrid system. Outward democracy is what you said. Democracy, as Churchill has said. Joshua Maponga, your time is up. I rule by decree, whether you like it or not. We have to stop talking to you. And I know others want to talk,
Ashraf,
but we can't.
When I come, I'll come and see you.
I know. Okay, looking forward to that once again. Joshua Maponga, hugely entertaining, certainly thought-provoking. Agree, disagree. He got you thinking, didn't he? Let's get the news now. It's 6 o'clock. Here's Greg House.